name is Umu, and I am the channel creator of ReacttotheK, and so exactly a week ago I went to see NCT127 perform in New York for their New City The Origin tour. And so welcome to this video where I will be talking about my overall experience with the concert. And at the end I'll talk a little bit about my thoughts on the 3 songs that I don't know what the official term is, that they performed for the first time during this concert. Highway to Heaven, Jet Lag, and Superhuman. So stick to the end if you want to see my thoughts on those 3. I was just so ridiculously excited for this, and I did end up going to see NCT127 alone because a lot of people on my channel were super busy and couldn't make it. So I want to give all the fans who talked to me a really big shout out and a thank you for talking to me and letting me hang with you. I really appreciate it. It made me, enjoy the overall experience more. And one more thing before talking about their performance, I really wanted to get a P1 for this concert like, most people, and I ended up getting a P2 sitting in the back, and I was like, you know what, it isn't gonna be that bad. I've been at this arena before. Like, I'm sure that the stage will be jutted out a little bit more and I'll be able to see them. Well, no! For anyone who is watching this video to see if they'd want to go to NCT, a future Neo City tour, if possible, don't sit in the very back of P2. I mean, stand. Everyone's standing the entire time. Try to get one of the seats. Doesn't matter how far away it is, but one of this, like the riser part of the arena, not the floor, because people will stand, people will be tall, you will not be able to see. I was not able to see. Halfway through the concert, I took my computer bag, wrapped my drives in like a sweater, crushed all my sunscreen bottles, and just stood on that the entire time in order to see their knees. I wasn't able to see their feet ever. It was a sad experience. This concert made me realize how important it is to see dancers' feet, because the feet do all the magic in choreography. So yeah, just personally, I found myself a lot more critical and not enjoying the concert as much because I wasn't able to see them, and because I was so far away, I felt super detached from them. And so I do strongly suggest those rise seats, because then you'll be able to see their full bodies, and I think it'll be a much more enjoyable experience that way. And last but not least, if you're watching this and you have a ticket to see them perform soon, just be aware that I might be, spoiling some aspects of the concert, like a certain song is actually not the whole song. They add something new to it, or like they do this for this song. Like, you might want to keep all of that as a surprise for yourself, so I'd suggest clicking away and just adding this video to watch later for after you experience the concert yourself. Okay, time to dive into the concert. I will just be talking about specific things that stood out to me, whether it was positive or negative, so I won't be talking about every single song performed. I will start off with the very first thing they performed, which was English version of Cherry Bomb. And so I have seen Cherry Bomb performed several times since I have seen NCT before at KCON, and they did something entirely different with this. I mean, it was the first time I've heard the English version, but I'm curious, did you guys like all the dance solos that they put in Cherry Bomb? Please leave a comment below, because I personally did not. I mean, okay, like I was like, oh my god, they're amazing, this is a smart way to hype up everyone by introducing their bias one by one, but it just interrupted the flow for me. It really interrupted the flow. I would have preferred them to use this version of Cherry Bomb maybe later in the concert when we were more prepared for variations on a song, because I feel like to start off a concert and your very first full concert somewhere with something solid that the audience can sing and dance along to, because I would be getting in the groove of Cherry Bomb and be like, I'm the biggest hit on the stage, oh, just kidding. So yeah, I just would have preferred that to be later in the concert. That's my own personal opinion. I'm sure many people have different opinions on that. And then, so yeah, they just kept doing songs back to back. It was Comeback after that, and then Limitless. They performed in, a very interesting way. I was, as a person in the back of the stadium, I had no idea what was going on because there was nobody on stage, but it sounded like they were singing live, and I was like, I don't know what's happening. Are they doing a costume change? Who knows? But then like I saw like one like small little figure like go on stage and then go off, and then another small little figure go on stage and go off. And so I thought it was interesting how SM planned for this concert to not be as imagined the first half, because yeah, we got that cherry bomb with the dance breaks, and then comeback was pretty normal, and then Limitless, yeah, just everyone disappeared and there were like a lot of crazy animations of the members on the screens, and I don't know, that was another moment where I'm like, did you have to do this? I just want to see the choreo really bad. But yeah, in the end they did end up coming out to perform on stage together, and I was like, yeah! But they did continue to have a lot of textures on screen. Sorry, yet another complaint coming up. But I wish that they projected the dancing more on the big screens, because instead they just had like a bunch of different patterns. The aesthetic was great. The art was great. It really fit the mood of the song. But I couldn't see! And like there was a giant projection above my head that I couldn't look up to, and the one on the left and the right I couldn't quite see, because you know you want to look at the stage, and so that's another complaint, SM. Please, giant large projection of the boys dancing in the middle of the stage behind them. I know it might look off because you know there's a camera delay, but I'd really like to see them. And you know, seeing K-pop performers' facial expressions is part of the experience of K-pop, and when you can't see their faces, it isn't that enjoyable. I'm sorry guys, this video is turning into like a mini rant. Believe me, I'm gonna get very passionate, positively passionate in a few minutes, but right now I'm just a little salty. Yeah. And then one thing that I enjoyed about this concert just overall, but I did start to notice when they started performing Chain, was how many ad-libs they performed live. Like all those hey, or like the like little background vocals. I love that they performed everything. So they had a lot of attention to detail when trying to perform as many different vocal parts as possible on stage. And also, yeah, just Chain was lit. Okay, and specifically about Chain, I just couldn't wait to see Taeyong's rap live, and boy was it fire! That was one of the highlights of this concert. It's just that one singular rap. So good. So the next bit of the concert is when they kind of lowered down the energy and they performed Back to You, City 127. They did perform Jet Lag and Angel. So a lot of those songs, other than Fly Away With Me, I wasn't quite familiar with, so I won't be talking a lot about. So yeah, these were the songs where the vocals really shined. All the high notes in this whole concert, all the high notes were hit and with passion. However, I wasn't able to enjoy City 127 as much because when they sang in unison, it was obvious that some of their intonation was off, which created the little waves that you get when you sing out of tune with a specific pitch. So yeah, this part of the concert was a little bit of a low for me just because I was so far away, I couldn't see them again. They weren't displaying their facials on the screen right behind them, so all I could do was just listen. Is this in tune or is this not in tune? So that was not the most enjoyable part of the concert for me. However, no longer, y'all! my god. No longer was my favorite performance of the concert. It was just amazing. The sound filled up the hall as much as the hard-hitting songs did, and the vocals were so incredibly on point. And I know when I first analyzed and listened to the song, I was like, oh, that drum set, why do we need that drum set? It's so beautiful and melodic and rich on its own. But boy, did it work out in a live concert setting. I love that drum set to death in a live concert, because I don't know, it does add that extra oomph that does so well with concert hype. Ow. Hearing this song live and in person just made me appreciate their vocal timbres and their phrasing and their amazing, lovely vibrato even more. And also I was surprised to hear Jaehyun singing an octave below some of the lines, because you hear unison sometimes in concerts, and it's then even more rare is you hear octaves, and then even more rare is multiple harmonies. And so just hearing that lower octave supporting the upper line, I was like, oh damn! And of course, the most iconic part of the song for me is the Do-young tail high note, where they start off belting in unison and then split off to thirds and then end in unison. I think, ah, hee, ah, yeah, or fifths. They split off into some type of harmony, and then, yeah, that was done so well. They started out a little bit flat, so their tone was a little bit low, but they eventually got up, and then they split off and ended perfectly, and that was such a powerful moment. I really enjoyed it, and I got so many goosebumps and I teared up a little bit because it was so powerful. And then, to make everything better, Interlude was performed next. I didn't think they'd perform Interlude. Holy shit, I did not, out of all things coming, I did not see this coming, because like, why perform an instrumental track? Well, because Johnny can play the piano, and they didn't include any of the talking, they just extended the waltz-like beginning, and then, oh my god, holy shit! Yo! I'm speechless. I don't know what to say. I think, did I already tweet about this? Yes, I already tweeted about this. I said it was so powerful. Well, it was powerful. The sounds of, how to explain this? This chaotic sound just like washes over the crowd and like swirls above your head and in your ears, and it's just such an amazing experience. First No Longer, then Regular to Irregular, performed beautifully by Johnny, and then just splitting off into loud chaos. That was, such a good experience! Okay, and then skipping to Wake Up. So I have been watching a lot of NCT behind the scenes stuff, and when I saw that they performed on, like a monkey bar pole set thing, I was like, they better perform this on this concert, and they did, and I was so happy. Oh my god, just so unique, so original, I think. I mean, I haven't seen any that I know of other K-pop groups performing on like a jungle gym on a stage. The performance is the most mind-blowing thing ever. It's a lot of like climbing and then stopping and then climbing and then stopping. It's just like they're posing for a photo shoot, but on a jungle gym, if that makes any sense. So let's just make up these words. Let's just make up these words. Let's just make up these words. Yeah, that was really cool to see. And then they performed another song on it, and this is when they put cameras on the jungle gym, and so they got some really cool shots. That was another thing I was like, oh my god, damn, I never saw that coming. And so like there was a point at which Taeyong was like looking in, oh, he was looking up. He was like looking up at a camera and he was rapping at it, and that was projected on the screen, thank you. And then there was another point where another member was just, I think it was just like lying down either this way or this way, I don't know. It was probably lying down up. And I was like, wow, they put even more good use to the jungle gym. That was so cool. Simon Says was amazing. Great performance. I felt like Simon Says was the one where I felt the bass the most in my soul. The sounds really filled up the arena. It's arena that we went to, and I don't know how to explain it. Simon Says, I think, is one of the best songs for NCT to perform, just based on its sounds, how freaking hype it is, and that bridge. Oh my god, that bridge. My heart. Hey Chan! And then to keep things hype, they moved on to Fire Truck. And so after they disappeared off stage, they came back on, and there was a fancy jacket that if you have been watching NCT in the US videos, you'd know that that fancy sparkly jacket was on Good Morning America when they performed Superhuman. And so you know that that moment would be their first performance ever of Superhuman in the United States. Well, other than the, you know, like the little hint at it on the Good Morning America show. Holy shit. So here's some spoilers if you haven't seen this concert, but the song opens up with a loud, giant jazz chord just sung in the vocals. Yeah! And it was such a shock, I burst into tears because this is such a turn for NCT127 sound. And I really don't mean to offend anyone, and I hope maybe others also had the same experience as me, but the more the song played as they performed, they did such a good job. It's nothing against NCT127's performance of it, but I just imagined SHINee performing it and I could not stop crying. when they release the studio version of the song, I plan to give my first reaction, just analyzing it as if it's any other pop song being released. But for the second part of that reaction, I do plan on explaining why it sounds so much like SHINee, and I know some people are saying it sounds like TVXQ. It's just those groups are known to have those very, very thick chords in their vocals, sometimes EXO too. And not only is it just the vocal harmonies that is SHINee or TVXQ reminiscent, but it is also the melody, it is the rhythms, even the choreo reminded me of something that SHINee would do. I feel like this would have been the perfect 10th anniversary SHINee OT5 SHINee performance song, and that's what I still can't get. And that's what I still can't get out of my head. Just everything about it is what I love in actually like SM songs, but like I said, NCT127 has never had this sound before. And so I wish I could go into more detail now about what I thought about the song, but I'm not letting myself listen to it again until my very first listen, so I can still be surprised by some aspects, because when you hear a song live, you can't always hear all the little different things going on. You just usually hear the main line, percussion, and the bass, and you don't really get every little intricate detail that happens, and I'm sure Superhuman is going to have a lot of those. I can tell you the melody is brilliant, the chord progression is great, the NCT's performance is so strong. The song is brilliant. Let me tell you, brilliant, and the Classical Musicians React series will react to it for sure, even though I haven't heard the studio version yet. Okay, so moving on to Jet Lag and Highway to Heaven. So Jet Lag came on and I was like, oh damn, this chord progression is good. We got some 7th chords, we got some dissonances, and it's syncopated. I like this, and it started off in a nice dynamic, and the singers were doing some really dramatic phrasing. So I do look forward to hearing the studio version of this to see if their phrasing is as dramatic in the studio as it was live. And I could tell that, yeah, they weren't that confident performing this, and they must have been so nervous hoping that the crowd would like it. And then I felt like the song built up nicely, the bass part sounds fun, and then they added in the percussion after the first chorus, I believe. And I think my favorite part about this song is just the trail off at the end of the chorus. It's just nice because every single time this one little melody would repeat, it would end with an ascending line, and at the very end it would descend into a rap. However, the song does really rely on loops. The chord progression never changed throughout any of the sections, and once the percussion came in, it never changed, and the textures never changed. So we'll see if my opinion changes at all when I hear the studio track, or if the consistency of textures is even more sterile in the studio version. So this song doesn't seem like it will be my favorite of the album, but I do really appreciate that chord progression and their integration of high notes early on in the song instead of just at the very end. Okay, so last but not least, Highway to Heaven, which is, well, it shouldn't be last but not least because it was played before Superhuman, I think. So it's funny because I looked at my notes and all I wrote down for this song was, Haechan gets the bridge, so I like it. Haechan does get a bridge along with Jungwoo, and I think their pairing of voices are perfect for bridge sort of breaks into a song because I think their timbres are this whole group has fantastic timbres, each individual member. I mean, they're some of my favorite vocalists and rappers in the industry, but I thought it was perfect match for a bridge. And so yeah, just like going back, think about this song overall, love the intro of the song, love the melody, love how it's kind of sparse. I really freaking like Do Hyun's voice. When Haechan first starts singing, so does like the full texture of the song just comes in with him, and I got chills. I got crazy goosebumps. And then you notice also there's some pentatonic stuff running around in the background, and this song has the bass that I'm an absolute sucker for. It's like that throbbing, warm synth sound that's super fast-paced. And it's just so comforting to listen to. And it seems like this song does not have the typical pop form. I think it lacks a pre-chorus. I'd like to see what you guys think, but the first time, I think it's just intro, then verse, and then chorus. And then the second time, it's rap, and then verse 2, and then chorus, and then bridge, and then chorus. So yeah, that wraps up my thoughts on the concert. I don't know if any clam news were in the audience and saw a person just sprinting up the stairs while the members were talking and thought, wow, such a rude person. Well, that was me, because long story short, getting back home was really freaking hectic, and I was gonna take a certain bus to go to New York City to then go back home to Rochester, and so I had to leave the concert early because, you know, they said that the concert would end at 10:30, but at this time it was 10:40-ish, and they still hadn't performed their final song, and they kept talking and talking and talking, so I had to miss their ending speeches in the very last song that they performed, because I just ran out, called up a Lyft, went to the bus station, missed my bus. Then I have to give a shout out to the citizens who in Penn Station, I just walked up to a person and I said, "Hi, where are you going?" She had no idea who I was, and I was just like, "Hey, can I follow you? Are you by any chance like trying to make it to Port Authority in New York?" And she said she was, so I was like, "Oh my God, this is a miracle, thank you so much." And so she helped me get onto the path, and then the path was arriving later than I thought it was gonna be, and so then that's when I got this HN banner again. So I met so many nice citizens. Thank you so much. I don't know if any of you guys are watching this, but I really freaking appreciate it. You kept me from losing my shit, because I was so close to losing it, because traveling scares the shit out of me, especially when I might be missing, you know, an 8-hour bus home. And so I end up just calling a very expensive Lyft and just taking that Lyft to Port Authority. And then I did end up making it to my bus home, and whew, NCT was amazing. I want to see them again, but this time up close, instead of just sitting so far away and feeling removed from the whole experience, because I know that they're wonderful performers, and I know that they want to share their music and just express everything passionately as best as they can, and I feel like I missed all of that by not being able to see them, and because I was so removed, I ended up being super critical and therefore not enjoying the experience as much as I should have. But yeah, just thank you everyone. I hope you all enjoyed the concert more than I did, and if you're thinking of going see them, please go see them. If just hearing Superhuman alone, like month before its release, that's worth it. Just that. If you're like, oh, I only like 2 of their songs, well, seeing Superhuman is worth it. And then also just seeing them, even if you don't like the songs, is worth it, because if you don't like the music and the choreography, it just is even better. If you don't like the choreography, the music is even better. So like, yeah, in the end, it's really worth it. And I will be going to see Stray Kids on the 15th and BTS on the 18th in May. So thanks for watching. I hope to meet you guys at a future concert. Bye.